told us, and Malcolm X said, we have got to link at the international level to put our issues and our ideas and solutions front and center in the international arena. No longer can we keep it a secret in Savannah, Atlanta, Augusta, Fort Valley, Brunswick, but we've got to tell our stories around the globe, because many countries in Africa, in Central and Latin America, the Caribbean, they are suffering just like the coastal cities here in America. And so we've got to make that link. Harambe, we've got to pull together. And so we're going to move over to Augusta/Aiken, South Carolina, with the phenomenal leader, Reverend Brendilyn Jenkins Bozeman. I know her as BJ, and she said, oh no, baby, that's BJB. So Reverend BJB, who is one of the phenomenal leaders on the ground, who a long time ago saw it not robbery to get involved at the international level. She has participated in several COP proceedings. She has been with me on the run hunting down accreditations. The last time we were in Durban, we were not accredited, but our God is awesome. And she, with her big mouth running around talking, came up with the 4 credentials that we needed that allowed us to participate in not only the NGO activities, but we got into the room where the actual governmental representatives and leaders were. We were able to listen, which then was able to inform what we do once we came back to the US. This global interconnection is essential. And I'm so glad that on Monday and Tuesday, we were in East, West, South, Central Africa. Today, we are looking at what's going on in the diaspora. Reverend BJB, take it away.
And there was nothing like sitting on Shaka's Rock, looking out over the Indian Ocean, where Shaka, the Zulu warrior, shook the lion tamers, or so they thought they were, coming from Europe, and sent them back home as whimpering little boys. Ashe, 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 Hotep. Good morning to the saints. I'm so excited. Anytime, y'all, I have the opportunity to be in the presence, either virtually, by voice, or touching with one Bahati, Dr. Mildred McLean. It is a good day in my life. And so I am so grateful, so grateful, so grateful. We sit here in Aiken, Augusta, Georgia, Carolina border, the central Savannah River area, the home of the world's crown jewel of the nuclear arsenal, the Savannah River Site Department of Energy. We sit here in the shadows of Southern Company's Plant Vogel that sits in the middle of a totally low wealth, impoverished community that they care nothing about. But I'm so glad that there's a few real warriors that's still out here on the battlefield. And we're not sick and tired of being sick and tired. We're not even sick and tired no more. We get a new refreshing. We get a new energy when we have an opportunity to come like this morning, early on a Saturday morning, with brothers and sisters from around the diaspora, not to whine and complain, not to talk about what the issues are, but to find the solutions and understand that we are truly who we are looking for. I'm so excited that some of our on-the-ground work is not just, as I mentioned, those 2 facilities. I also realize they probably ain't going nowhere anytime soon. And how do we maximize them sitting in the midst of our community with all of the need that we have? So we're once again out front and center with workforce development and job training, and we're real close. Talk about collaboration, forging a plan with Dr. McLean at Harambe House to bring that worker training to Augusta, Georgia. We are right on the precipice. Listen, we have not because we ask not. Where our congregation sits in East Augusta, that they have the nerve, politics, faith community, call it the bottom. They say it because that's their expectation of that community. Well, I come by to tell you that Augusta Technical College has seen the value of bringing and setting up a satellite campus in the bottom, housed in the fellowship hall, where I just happen to have the keys to the building at number 2 Taylor Street. So we ready to roll. We are boots on the ground. Sister Alicia, that $3 billion, but it's 367 billion with a big B of money that's out here that's available to our communities, and we've got to figure out. Another thing that we're doing, we live in, talk about a food desert, it's a food swamp, it's a food, the bread been gone a long time ago, but we are not doing community gardens because we've come to understand that has a patriarchal, benevolent tone to it. We are creating micro farm enterprises. We partner with the Augusta Housing Authority for the housing complex right across the street from our congregation, from our building. We're putting in on Tuesday morning a farm installation in the backyards of these people apartments. They may not, everybody we realize don't want to work in the dirt. They want to play in the dirt, but I guarantee you everybody over there wants to eat. And so if you don't want to grow the collard greens, how about help buy the collard greens for your own well-being? So those are some of the things that we're doing. You talk about water issues. Y'all, Flint is long ago. Jackson really probably is old news. I want to tell you about Denmark, South Carolina, that sits about 45 minutes from where I sit now. And I come by to tell you that kinship ain't kinship. This is a Black elected community that instead of investing the money in the water treatment, they thought it was good enough to put swimming pool chemicals in the water treatment of its citizens. That's Denmark, South Carolina. Nobody is talking about Denmark, Doc, but we need to uplift and lift up Denmark, South Carolina. So we realize all over we have the Flints and the Jacksons and these issues. Also, we must get at the seat of power. If you're not at the table, you're likely to be on the menu, and you are never served up good when you're served up by somebody else. Sister Shirley said, if they don't make room for you at the table, you bring your own chair. Matter of fact, don't even worry about sitting up. Just go stand up over their head. Just stand around the wall and look at them. Just be in the room. And so what we've done, we have crafted in the city of Aiken. They got the city of Aiken Energy and Environmental Committee. They heretofore was worried about the horses and the horse country. Well, this little Black girl right here happens to just have become the chair of the city of Aiken Energy and Environmental Committee. Y'all, we're going to talk about sustainability in Aiken. We're going to talk about every development that they do must have workforce development tied to. That's how we do it. We don't need a piece of the pie. Everybody can get your own pie. We've been groveling over slices before. I don't need a slice of your pie. I want you to have your whole pie. I want everybody to have your, and how refreshing is it to hear somebody come on from a funder saying, here I am. Sister Alicia Scott, I shouted. That's why I was off camera. I was trying to get myself back together from shouting to hear a funder say, here I am. Send me, call on me. Y'all, this is a critical, we love that word intersectionality, but we at a crucible point right now, and in our hands what we do with it. We can squander it or we can use it, but it's ours, and we will be held accountable if we don't use it right. Shay, God bless you. I'm going to stop because I'll be opening the doors and asking for an offering in a minute. Thank you so much.
I say. Well, we crunked up already. We ready to go to COP and do that darn thing, and to connect it with what we're doing here on the ground.
Amen.
I want to keep it right here in the state of Georgia before we go over to Sister Rachel. Sister Nicole, come and talk to us a little bit about one of the community-based solutions that you're working on in the way of energy efficiency and weatherization.
Good morning, everyone from the sunny state of Florida. I'm currently at a Women's in Construction conference advocating for returning citizens to get jobs in construction. Some of the community-based solutions that I'm doing is basically weatherization, going in homes and weatherize them. I know as much as we don't like Georgia Power, I do work for Georgia Power as a contractor, going into homes and providing these services for energy efficient retrofits for free to residents. I am a 100% minority owned woman business. I basically go into these homes and do the work myself with my crew member. We basically go in and try and educate all of the residents on the things that they can do to help lower their light bills, such as changing out light bulbs, eliminating extra refrigerators, because many of the homes that we go in, they might have 3 or 4 refrigerators in there. I'm like, hey, you have to eliminate 1 or 2 of them so that we can help you save on your energy costs, as well as connecting them with other programs that are within their cities. Right now, a lot of the programs, when I do go to sign people up for these programs, they might not qualify for them because they are income qualified. So basically right now for my company, I'm trying to figure out a way to get those funds so that I can basically go in and do the work for them for free, even if they don't qualify for those programs. And so those are a few of the solutions that we have, basically going in, insulating homes, weatherizing them, air sealing, providing them with the bulbs and Nest thermostats. And those are some of my community-based solutions for making the homes more energy efficient all around the state of Georgia, which I travel.
And I love it because often, as I said earlier, we're looking at the big pictures and we don't know about the low-hanging fruit. We have to redo these homes in order for them to be energy efficient. That is where we can start. If you got holes in your roof and windows that are letting air in and out and doors not sealed well, there's no sense in you talking about having a decent electric bill, because you're not. As my mother used to say, God bless her soul, we're heating the outside or we're cooling the outside. So even though often we don't look at energy efficiency or weatherization as a part of the strategy to address climate impacts, it's crucial. It is crucial. What kind of building materials are being used to build homes? What are the building materials that the old homes are made of? How do we make this transition in a way that we are not only addressing the needs of our residents, but we are addressing the needs of Big Mama? That's Big Mama Earth. Thank you. I love that. Right on that little hit quit. Sister Azania is a bi-coastal warrior hailing from the great state of Georgia, the powerful city of Savannah by the sea, the entry point of New World Africans. But she migrated up to the New South in the North, up there in Maryland. So my dear sister, come and talk to us a little bit about what you're doing to address climate change impacts.
Greetings to everybody hailing from the wonderful area, Mid-Atlantic, that I now love. It's Harriet Tubman laden footprints that I try to step into. Can't fill those shoes, but I do my best. And in that, what I'm trying to do in terms of climate change is on a personal level, like figure out how I can sleep and create more energy at the same time. But I'm still working on that, so stay tuned. We are continuing to forge our way as a new entity in this green economy space, making many connections, and so excited about it. I love the fact that Sister Nicole is talking about the energy efficiency, because as I put in the chat, that's the absolute baseline. Because even if we just do that, because people still live in historical homes in their communities, that would at least start the conversation of them seeing a difference with their energy burden, because many homes have not been able to upgrade on windows because the climate has changed. They weren't prepared for that. And it is very essential that we build a window company, because there are not very many Black ones out there. And that is very expensive to do so. So all the retrofitting is something that we include in our conversation as baseline, a part of our funding when we're talking about energy efficiency, to make sure that we have that capacity to provide that. That's a game changer for people, just to see you make their homes less drafty, make their energy bills go down. So we're continuing to forge our way and partner with groundbreaking historical environmental justice organizations like the Harambe House. We have a new project that we were funded to do through the Emerald City Collaborative. Thanks to Sister Chandra. We appreciate you. So we're looking forward to in the fall, as we prepare to go to the COP, to start implementing the kickoff of that. We've been working over the summer around the planning and implementation of the design, trying to pull in partners multi-sectorally, like we say, together, Pamojutu Tashinda, we win. We're pulling together everybody, old school, new school, and between school, intergenerational. We doing the darn thing. I love my mother. I love my extra mother, Sister Brendalyn Jenkins. I'm so glad that you're reconnected in the fold. We need that kind of pop, pop, bang, bang energy. I love it. That's what we're doing up here, besides trying to get some sleep, y'all. And then can we put in a budget for a media room? Because I need to know how to make these videos on a drop of a dime, as I'm called to do. What y'all say? Hey, we're here in Maryland and loving it till can we get some sleep?
We love it. We love it. Reverend Malcolm, you are right on point. This is a community conversation about solutions to climate change, but it is intersecting with our going to COP27. So it's all mixed up in there. And I am going to let you have the last word so that you can round back and tell us what you really want to tell us. You know, I got you, brother. Don't play. I got you. Now, Sister Amina to end out Georgia, and then we're going to go over to Sister Rachel, that she way out there somewhere. I don't know if she's Kansas, Missouri, somewhere like that, but we still consider her in the global South. So Sister Amina, talk to us for a couple of minutes.
Yes, I want to first say forgive my camera being out. I am out here in the streets, being a mama and running all the errands I need to do for my youth, some of which are over there with Dr. E and Chandra, getting the good word and training as we do with our youth in this environmental justice movement. And so the area that I find myself in right now is really getting good training inside of circularity, recycling, urban agriculture. I really love how it was shared that we are no longer creating community gardens, but we are creating micro farm enterprises. And so I am getting good training right now in how to connect these micro farm enterprises to our awareness of greenhouse emissions and what it looks like for food waste, as well as other types of waste to be contaminating our landfills and getting things out of the landfill and into the proper area so that we can reduce those greenhouse emissions. I do grant management right now with the Recycling Partnership as a form of this training, I would like to say, for our environmental justice movement, so that I can provide more information for our people in our communities on what it looks like to recycle, because we are naturally people who are of the earth and who recycle, who are sustainable. We just have to be reminded of who we are. We just have to be reminded that when grandma took the butter container and washed it out and put our greens and cornbread and our things in that and send us home with it, that was a form of recycling and upcycling. When we take our grocery bags and line our trash cans with it, that is a form of upcycling and recycling. So we're not new to this. We just need to be brought into the conversation and realize that this is not a bougie thing. It is not a white thing. This is a us thing. And we are definitely people of the earth. Mm-hmm. And so as I continue to do my work with Gracefully So, being welcome into the Harambe House, as well as the Cornerstone Collective with my beautiful accountability sister, Azania Hayward James, as I continue, and so grateful for the training that I've received under our sister and chiefess, Chandra Farley, also Alicia Scott, Dr. E as Wawa. You know, I'm putting all of these pieces together. My intense training with the Habesha organization here in Atlanta, Georgia, really getting a good grasp of what urban agriculture is and how we can bring all these terms into our backyards and into our community. So I'm very grateful to be here, to be with family, and to be fine-tuned so that I know how to better serve my family, myself first, my family, and my community.
Ashe, 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 ashe. Sister Rachel, all the way from out there. Where you at from?
Ooh. Hello, 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 and good morning. I'm going to put on my camera. I'm not camera ready. I'm in the middle of packing to move. But this conversation was so important to me. And like many of you, when Mama Bahati says show up, I show up. I show up. So nice to hear about all the great work that's happening down there in Georgia. I'm here in Kansas City, Kansas, facing a lot of the same issues that you all are facing. I'm the executive director of Groundwork Northeast Revitalization Group, Groundwork Energy, formerly known as the Historic Northeast Midtown Association. Our organization was founded by 13 Black neighborhood leaders because there was no one advocating for our area in Northeast KCK. Let me tell you a little about Northeast KCK. People that live in Northeast KCK died 20 years earlier than those that live on the other side of the highway. It's an area that's been redlined. It's an area that has the aging infrastructure. It's the area that's under consent decree right now for the combined sewers. It's the area where buses get stuck in sewage and overflow water with kids in them. So our work has always been about centering community needs. Hey, KCK, about centering community needs and providing funding to our neighbors, to our residents for the stuff that they want to have done. So with that, we work on various neighborhood projects, neighborhood improvement projects, markers, parks, fixing benches, fixing lighting, fixing the built infrastructure. We have a green team, which is primarily composed of Black and Hispanic youth who do vacant lot revitalization, trying to daylight some of our water issues that we have here, keep them from going off into the sewers, because we know local government's trying to take 25 years to do anything after they've taken 10 years to study the problem. All right, so we can't wait on them. We're getting busy and we're doing the work right now. We also have a climate safe neighborhoods program where we do peer learning with our residents. And most importantly, we pay our people. Anybody who comes to any of our trainings, our conversations, they get paid $25 an hour. We provide daycare, we provide food. That's what we do. And we learn together about our unique issues here in our community. And we come up with solutions. We write demand letters. We start petitions to get people moving to where they need to be. And by that, I mean the local government. You know who I'm talking about. The policymakers who pretend like they don't know the problem, right? So our green team, our climate safe neighborhoods program, we also do a lot of work in housing justice, all right? Because it's all intersected. So over the last year, we raised $80,000 to keep people in their homes, keep them out of the tax sale. In Kansas City, Kansas, they're trying to sell people's homes for as little as $300 in the tax sale. So we raise money so those people can stay in their homes, and we pay the unified government directly. We told them to stop the tax sale, but they won't. So we raise the money to keep those people in their homes. And these are Black and brown people living on fixed income, disabled, low income people, okay? So that's just some of the work that we do. Like I said, I'm in the middle of packing up to move, okay? So that's where I'm gonna end it, but I wanna end it on this picture right here. I don't know if y'all can see that. This is a local artist, Warren Harvey, here in Kansas City. And I think that signifies what we're all trying to do here, right? Divine nurturing, the divine liquid. So thank you so much for having me. Mama Bahati, I love you. Give me a call, please. I need to know what's happening with these videos, okay? All right, God bless. So beautiful to see all your faces.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. We are just about getting to the end of our time. I have somebody on an iPhone. Is that Michelle? Who's on the iPhone? Okay. Well, since that person cannot chime in, I'm going to roundhouse back to Reverend Malcolm to give us his closing thoughts, to share a little bit more. You were right on, because you were talking about earlier the intersection between what we're doing here on the ground and the COP process. The Conference of Parties international annual conferences are essential for us to be there. I don't care if we half inside, half outside, kind of inside, accredited, non-accredited, whatever. We need to be there. And now this morning, through the awesomeness of our Creator and the power of our ancestors, we got the funding to go. So if we don't get to Shah El Sheikh at the resort for the COP, we'll be in Cairo doing an environmental justice tour. We'll be doing a historical legacy tour. We will be building partnerships with groups on the ground, the NGO community. But whatever You mark your calendar that you will be in Egypt in November, one way or the other, either at the official COP or the non-official COP or the EJ tour. But this is an idea that came from the creator. He said to me, she said to me, I want those voices who are least heard to be able to go. Yes, you have the big time EJ, climate, gurus, justice, and all of that. And they got the millions of dollars from Bezos, from the guru who decided he's going to choose who our leaders is. And I say no to that book. So we are choosing our own voices to go. And now the creator has given us the resource, because we've got to connect those dots around resources. We cannot continue to allow an executive director of an NGO working on environmental justice and climate change to make $12,950 a year. That was my salary in 2019. We don't have to do that anymore because we want young people involved, and they are not going to come in at slave wages with no benefits. So we've got to fund ourselves so that we can have an authentic voice, because we remain unbought and unbossed, and our voice has to be heard. I went off into Reverend Jenkins Bozeman. Lord, let me get myself back. It's our time. It's our time. It's our time. And listen, my last remark is this is not going to be a segmented struggle. There's no such thing as the millenniums and the generation Z and Y and P and O and make up stuff all along the way. There's a role for every generation in this fight. If you're 5 years old, there's a role. If you're 25, there's a role. If you're 50, there's a role. And for someone over 70, it's still a role. You ain't kicking me out. I ain't going no way until we win. I'll be over from the side as an ancestor, still talking about and pushing us forward. Reverend Malcolm, take us home.
But Mama, I appreciate this opportunity to look back, but and the reason why I was encouraged to look back in the first place was because I thought that we were talking about pre-COP, and so I wanted to talk about our international work, and I didn't necessarily focus on our domestic work, but at the same time, with all that has been said, and even what you just said in your closing, I think I stick with what I said. And I think that it points back to the necessity to connect the dots, to ensure that we are putting our hands into the hands of our international family, our global family, who struggle the same way that we struggle. We don't understand, or we don't connect that we struggled in the same ways because we don't see ourselves in relationship. Unfortunately, we also see ourselves, even in our struggle, as superior over others. And so we don't necessarily see that the drought that they experience in South Africa is the same drought that we experience in South Georgia and South Alabama. The floods because of the deforestation that's happening in the Amazon is also happening in South Georgia, South Alabama, South Mississippi, South Texas. We aren't seeing that the same capitalistic structure, the same consumerism that is destroying others is also destroying us. And so we hear these stories that we've heard today that about access to housing and access to newer stock homes that have proper insulation, and we're being robbed through our utilities. Some of us are locked into poverty due to our utilities. Well, the same things are happening because of fossil fuel infrastructure. The way that Cancer Alley looks is the same way that Kenya looks. And we need to see that and know that we are in this struggle together, and there are more with us than they are against us. And the reason why this great divide happens, and the reason why this divide happens in our communication, is it's intentional. It's meant for us not to be able to connect with one another, because they know when we all get together, oh, what a time. What a time. What a time. Thank you for my time.
I say, Harambe, Pamoja Tutashinde, together we will win. Take these solutions that have been offered to your local community, your city, your town, and try to use them. We will see you in Egypt, where we will fellowship, where we will mentor each other, where we will create solutions that we can all share, and certainly but not least, to garner the resources that are required to do the work that is needed to protect Big Mama. We ain't got but one. We not Jazzy Z and Beyonce and all them people, Bezos going up and spending $28,000 for 9 seconds in the air. There's only one Earth. There will only be one Earth. We're not going to be on Mars or the moon. We're going to be right here. And so we stand steadfast as soldiers, as warriors for generations to come. The indigenous people of this land say the 7th generation. I'm told we have to be about the business of the 9th generation. Reverend Bozeman, you got the last comment.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put my hand up. Excuse me.
It's up for a reason. Close us out. Come on back. Close us out.
I sent Brother Dawood. I was trying to send a chat to Dawood. Oh, Maker and Creator, truly how excellent is your name. We're grateful for the minds, for the spirits, for the hearts that have gathered here this morning. God, we don't wrestle over the issues. You've already poured them into our spirit. Allow us to bring them forth. Allow us to bring them forth for the building of this nation, for the betterment of our people, our families, our community, and this world. For Mother Earth, Big Mama, the one that we have, the one that you've called us to be stewards of. We accept that. We put our hands on this plow to do your work. We pray for strength and refreshing in our work, for each heart and home that's represented here. Be with us, guide us, speak to us as never before. And we give your name praise, glory, and honor. For it's in my Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Ashe. We thank you so much, and we'll see you in Egypt.